20, 19. No, God, Connor, come on, go. We're recording. This is the podcast. This is the Psychedelic Athlete podcast. I am your guest, Mike Turpin, and I'm joined with Claire, the host for this evening. So Claire, if you just want to go ahead and get us started now.
I thought I was the guest.
You are the guest. You're the guest, unless you want to be the host. Okay. So we have a special, this is actually my first in-person thing. It'll be a good vibe because we can sort of communicate. Usually when I do a podcast, it's kind of like monologue and playing topics and people who are, probably used to being a guest on a podcast. But today I have somebody that was not prepared to be a guest on a podcast. My friend Claire is in town for the holidays. And today you actually had a flight get canceled.
I did.
So we were planning on doing a podcast eventually, probably a Zoom thing. And we still might do something like that at some point, but this is nice to have my first one. So just to kind of give a little back, you can breathe for a minute or two because I'm long-winded. When I started making this podcast, I like when podcasts like Joe Rogan, who's somebody I'll probably bring up most podcasts at some point. I like when Joe Rogan brings his friends into the mix. Like if you listen to Joe Rogan, he's got Joey Diaz. He's had people who weren't really famous until they were on the Joe Rogan Experience. And I like that he just has conversations with his friends. And it's tough because we're like on camera and it's like, this is a podcast. So it's hard to have just like a normal conversation. But you and I, we could talk for hours,
Okay.
we talk all the time. So it's nice just to have a conversation. And I wanted to have normal people on, friends of mine that I don't get to talk to much. And you were the first person I hit up about that. So it's good. It's perfect timing. This is the 4th episode. So I'm just doing a friend conversation. We have some fun stuff to talk about. Before that, I should just let's just give a little bit of update where you've been since. I mean, what were you doing when you first moved to New York? Photography?
I was doing photography.
So you were a model for photography. You were shooting photos too, right? Or
I was taking photos. Sometimes people took pictures of me.
I do want you to tell us something that we haven't really. It's funny, like looking at the thing and not each other, but I like that.
I'm kind of looking at you.
All right, I'll look at you.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like I'm making eye contact, which is like, this would be a good way to like break eye contact. Like, you know what I mean? I like eye contact are you comfortable with eye contact?
I am.
You just stare people right in the eye the whole time you talk.
The whole time.
Doesn't bother you at all.
It doesn't bother me one bit.
Oh my God. I'm getting better at it. But have you ever noticed that I'm weird about it?
Yeah, but sometimes they say that if you stare at somebody right here in the middle of the forehead, that can make them very, very nervous. So if you ever need to make somebody very nervous, you just look them right there.
They get more nervous when you look at their forehead than when you look at their eyes?
Yeah, apparently it's what they say.
I find that hard to believe.
I know.
I would think if you look somebody at the eyes, I feel like
I don't make the rules. That's what they say.
I have like a weird amount of eye energy. And I think when I stare people in their eyes, like right now, I'm just staring at your eyes through my computer screen. And it is like, oh my God, I feel like I'm just making you nervous just looking at your eyes.
Oh, you don't make me nervous.
I know, but you meet people who are weird about eye contact.
I don't know. I like eye contact.
You've noticed that about me though? Does it stand out? It's probably a form of autism.
I think you're a little bit autistic.
Yes.
I mean, I noticed with my grandfather the other day that you kind of were a little bit shifty.
Yes. You think he thought I was shifty?
No, they love you.
Do you think he thinks I'm autistic?
Maybe.
They're not sure.
They're not sure.
Hard to put your finger on.
It's hard. It's hard with you because you're so engaging, and charming that,
Exactly.
It's unique. It's a unique combination
of autism. And other things.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think there's something there.
I mean, I've been told that might have Asperger's,
Yeah. It's probably why we connect.
Probably. We understand that part of one another. Yeah.
Probably is why this conversation is going
Taking
to be the way
place
that it is.
right
Yes, the way that it is. This is a very autistic podcast. So you were, what I want to talk about?
Artistic. Remember, it's artistic.
Yes, artistic. I had an autistic friend who was way more autistic than me, but do you remember Jesse? I guess I could say his last name, but I don't have to know.
The station.
Yes, he worked with me in the deli.
I do.
And this is so terrible, but keep in mind I was like 19, so it's not as bad, but maybe even younger. I was probably younger. I was playing video games with Jesse and he was being extra himself. And I made the comment that like in front of people when Jesse was around, I would talk about how artistic I thought he was. You're like, I'm not artistic at all. And, you know what I meant. But he was playing Guitar Hero on like easy. And he just couldn't, like the first song on easy, if you've ever played Guitar Hero, it's not hard to do it on beginner or easy or whatever it is. But Jesse, he'd be so frustrated. This is a funny story about Jesse. So he had a calendar brain. Have you ever heard of somebody?
Oh yeah, he was able to memorize numbers and license plates and
everything,
back to front.
So he not only did he know license plates when he was 6 years old. See, I went to elementary school with him. When Jesse was 6, you could say, like, let's say you would say July 18th, 1988. He would just say Tuesday. And at 6 years old, he could do it. They did a write-up about him in the Aegis, the local newspaper. And yeah, it was interesting. He's
what's he doing now?
He got super religious and moved to some Midwestern country with his family. And he was doing preacher-ish stuff. He was involved in math. He graduated from Towson with a math degree. And he was adulting all right, Yeah. He's self-sufficient.
Okay.
He lives a good life. He lost a bunch of weight. He used to be like a bigger kid.
I didn't remember him being.
You might have known him. If you knew him when we were friends, he had already lost weight.
Oh.
Yeah, but he was a bigger kid in high school, if you remember him in school.
No, I don't.
But he was one of those kids where like his parents never really talked about the fact that he was, autistic. They didn't really talk about him or treat him like he had any sort of thing,
Yeah.
But he clearly, he was different. I'll tell one story. So we did a bunch of pranks at the deli, like crazy stuff. We would always just do stupid shit. And he thought it would be funny because he saw the movie Shaft. And in the movie Shaft, it's like something like, I don't know if it's something is a bad mother, shut your mouth, right? I don't know if it was nature is a bad motherfucker, but instead of fucker, he says, shut your mouth, right?
Yeah.
So there was a thing, and I think it was nature is a bad mother. And it was Full Throttle energy drink. And Jesse wrote on a piece of paper and taped it to all the Full Throttle cans in the cooler, shut your mouth below it. So they were on the shelves to be sold with like a piece of paper that he wrote, shut your mouth. Yeah. One time we had a guy who started working there. They hired as like a manager, and it wasn't like a real manager. It was a guy that was renting the place next door from the owners of the deli. And they were bringing him in to like supervise all of us. And we didn't like it. The guy didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know anything about the store, but he wanted to like, tell us what to do. So Jesse would hear us complain about it, and he felt like he needed to do something about it. And he wrote this like 3-page thing on how bringing this guy Bob in was likened to the Cold War somehow. So he gave a history lesson on how problematic the Cold War was, and comparing Bob and the owners of the deli to, I think maybe, is it Stalin?
Stalin.
Yeah, I still have that somewhere.
That's too much.
It's a gem. So, something I don't think we've ever talked about this. Not long after you moved, you did something crazy. And I have to ask you about this right off the bat. And it's not like this is your main thing.
This is my claim to fame.
But it was a wild thing to do, right? Anybody who's ever done something like this would remember. You might know where I'm going. You were living and you were neighbors or something in the same building with Patti Smith.
Oh yeah.
Punk rock superstar.
Yeah.
And which is crazy. Today I talked about like favorite like female frontmen or like, front people or like artists, and I forgot Patti Smith. But you read a poem at a Patti Smith concert before she went up there?
Yeah, I did. And we are still friends to this day. Yesterday, actually, she received the key to the city from Mayor de Blasio, which was
What's that mean? Key to the
key
city.
to the city is just sort of an award,
Prestigious
thing, right? Like St. Peter Gates of Heaven or something like that.
So if you're a good person, right.
Right.
Peter gives
It's
you a
kind of
gate.
right, like poet laureate.
So you can
it's
leave
an
and come
honor.
back.
Right.
You can kind of like visit hell,
Visit and then
Earth.
come back if you please, or
You could. That's how angels get
your
to Earth.
admissions, basically.
Yeah.
You're the admissions.
After you've been in heaven for so long, it's like Rumspringa for the Amish.
Yeah, that. Oh
You
yeah,
come back
where they
to
do the
Earth.
cocaine and the
Yes.
that one. Yeah.
You come back to Earth for a little while. You're allowed to visit hell, and then you see if you really want to be a member of heaven or not.
Right. That's what it
So
is.
they give you the key. So Patti Smith has a key to.
To New York City.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right now, that's pretty hard to, especially with lockdown and stuff.
There's only one, so
Yeah. How nervous were you before that?
before what?
Reading
Oh,
the
the
poem
reading
at
the
a
poem.
Patti Smith
Yeah.
concert?
Well, she supported me the whole way through, and I was moderately drugged at the time.
Okay.
I was on a maintenance situation, and but it didn't really seem to matter. I was very nervous. I mean, I remember getting up there and the sea of people at the Bowery Ballroom. I mean, it was packed, and I was reading this poem, and I don't know how I got through it because my heart was beating so fast. I thought I wasn't going to be able to speak, and I did. And wow, it was an incredible experience, And
Jesus. I guess a lot of people there.
Oh yeah, probably. I don't know how many people were there. 6,000 maybe.
Ooh.
More even. People in the balconies and stuff like that. But she and I parted ways for a little while. I was misbehaving for a while and sort of wasn't that nice to her, and then more recently
I took some balls.
Yeah, it really did, to be
mean
to Patti Smith. Oh, I have the emails. Yeah, I was nasty, and I think back and I'm like, she probably thought, what the hell are you? But whatever. She loved me.
You were probably like, who the hell are you?
Yeah, and who are you, Patti Smith?
Yeah.
Or something, rock star extraordinaire. I mean,
that's a claim to fame.
Yeah, I was mean to Patti Smith. Anyway, more recently, she got back in touch with me, and I saw her perform at the Forum, I think it was, in Los Angeles. It's a couple months ago. Yeah. And
wow.
Yeah,
so being obnoxious. Don't knock anything over, Connor. Please go lay down. Go lay down. My dog is this is tough for him, having a brand new guest. He's never met Claire before.
Yeah.
Lay down.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, now you live in Hollywood. I want to West Hollywood. That's
dubious distinction. Yeah.
What's East Hollywood like? Rougher?
It's rougher. Yeah.
Is there
East Hollywood? I don't know about East Hollywood, but I always think of Hollywood as north, but I guess there is an east as well.
So it's north and west are two distinctions?
More like, for me, I think of just Hollywood, North Hollywood, and West Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those South Hollywood.
I've never heard of South Hollywood.
I can't even do a Southern accent. My brother moved to Tennessee. My brother has a Tennessee accent now.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh no.
He hides it pretty well sometimes when you talk to him on the phone, but I know he does. I mean, he can't help it.
Yeah.
Some people
you pick up on it.
But he would not be the person you would expect to have a Southern accent, right?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I know when I come home here to Heartland, I sometimes pick up on it,
Oh, you pick up on like a Maryland.
Not really. They say Merland, and I'm thinking, what the hell is Merland?
Yes. I never say
it's Maryland.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's Maryland.
It's not Merland either. So. Yeah, I have a little bit of I think the way I do my A's, I'm not West. I definitely don't have a West Coast accent, but you might not be able to pick. I don't have like.
You don't have any. Accent. I don't think you have any accent.
Yeah,
it's very Mike distinct.
One time that bitch Steph My ex, yeah. She's a bitch for this reason. She told me I had a Maryland accent.
No, I don't think
Mad.
so. I
was
don't.
like,
I don't see that.
No.
You have a lot of different accents though. As I
yeah.
recall.
Well, I mean,
You can do all kinds.
well, I mean, if I try to, but the one that I just naturally comes out of me is
How do you even know anymore?
Yeah, exactly. It's all an act.
Yeah,
It's just one performance piece
Yeah.
until I die.
exactly.
Keep them guessing.
Right.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah. Next question. What is the square root? Okay. So, so I want to get into like debaucherous stuff. So
Debauchery.
yeah, let's just go over the background of like, okay, we went to high school together.
Mhm.
We
You were a grade above me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I was maybe a junior,
Mhm.
we were in the same German
Yep.
class.
Herr Blake.
We were in a class with Frau
Frau
Federer.
Featherat. Oh my gosh. I
Yes.
forgot about her.
That was the
And
craziest.
she made the beef stroganoff,
Yes.
didn't she?
Yes.
Mhm.
That was insane. People ran that class. Like,
Yeah.
you've never seen a more out of control class
Who
than
was
Frau Federer.
the guy Travis who would do Voas Travis?
Okay, I have a Voas Heinrich.
Voas Heinrich.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went to school with the kid Travis. He had diabetes. He would have like Necco wafers in his pocket and stuff. And
Fruit snacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually have a funny story. Travis was on my basketball team, and he was one of those kids that was just like, could never, like, he never scored a point. He was never really in many games, just a little bit. But in the championship game, we were up by a certain amount. And my dad was substitute coaching because Joey Becker's dad couldn't be there.
Oh,
If you remember Joey
I do.
Becker. And he put Travis in, and Travis made like the basket of all baskets.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily anything special, but he made it, and it was like this huge moment. Well, anyway, Travis in our German class used to hide, and I don't know how it even started, but it became like a German lesson game. This is about as on focus as we ever were. It was some game that we made up where you would say, Wo ist Heinrich? And Frau would be like, oh, Wo ist Heinrich? Is he in das Taschenlecker? Or whatever that is. Opens up a closet. Oh, nein. Heinrich, ich bin, I don't know. So do you remember when I got him written up? Because he wasn't there. And I came up with the idea of playing Wo ist Heinrich as if he was hiding.
He was actually hiding.
I said, Wo ist Heinrich? So we're looking for him. I said, he's out there in the courtyard.
I remember.
He was out in the courtyard.
Yeah.
I said, hey, where are you going, dude? And Frau thought he was out there. And for like 5 minutes was trying to get him to come in, and wrote up an office referral because he wouldn't come back into class. Oh.
I remember her sitting at the desk writing that. I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember? So my name was Axel in that class.
I was Dagmar.
Dagmar. I didn't know your German name.
Mhm.
We had German names.
Dagmar.
Now there was another Axel, a guy named Andy Krensen. Okay. Andy Krensen and this guy, Brett Lacey, were the Cowboys. And I was the Native American Axel from Germany. And we used to have Cowboys versus Indian fights, and we would like throw spitballs at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Or not spitballs. We'd ball up pieces of paper and throw them at each other, and have Cowboys versus Indians stone throwing things at each other. And it was chaos, and she couldn't get us to stop. And we just pretended like we were really pissed and going to fight.
Right.
And she didn't know what to do.
She didn't know what to do with you.
And then floor is lava.
Oh,
The
yeah.
floor is lava. We had a kid, remember, who had the remote control for the TV on his watch. He was a twin, Brian Lang or Corey Lang, I forget which one. But do you remember them? They were my age. And they could turn the TV on and change channels and stuff with their watch. Yeah. So he used to turn the TV on in the middle of class. I mean, it was just nonstop chaos.
That poor woman.
I had to get put in the front of the class because we were fighting in the back. So she split me up from the other Axel. Because then, I used to be like, I'd be like, Axel in the front, right? is geared up for an ass whooping. And she'd be like, watch yourself. And he'd be like, I think Axel in the back left is talking, smack, and he needs to get, what's coming to him. So then we just start chucking paper balls in the middle of class.
I remember the paper balls.
Yeah. So it was like, it was total chaos. Like, what are you going to do? Write us all up? You can't send us all to the office. So that's literally the state of her class was, I don't know what to do because everybody deserves to be suspended.
Basically.
For real.
Well, I don't know about me. I was just a witness.
Yeah, the girls were pretty good about it. It was
Yeah.
basically just like the boys impressing the girls by how out of control they could be.
Mhm.
And then it became like a pissing contest
It was
between
a
us.
pissing contest, yeah.
Yeah. So I got sent up to the front because we were throwing paper balls. So for like 20 minutes, I was just crumpling up paper balls in my desk. And when she faced the board, I threw like 50 paper balls in front of me and yelled, ow! So she thought they threw all these paper balls at me in like a matter of a split second.
Yeah.
And then we pretended like we were going to get into a fight, me and Brett Lacey. Okay, the two biggest guys in class.
Yeah, we're big.
Yeah, Brett was as big
You
as
were
me,
big, yeah.
if not bigger. We were both big kids.
Yeah.
And then she didn't want us to get into a fight on the way to the office. She sent Josh Heinley up with us.
Josh Heinley.
Short, tiny
Yeah.
kid, your
oh my
age.
God, he looked like a surfer dude, kind of.
Yeah, but
yeah, with
I
the
mean,
sandals, the flip flops. Always
he-
in the
he was-
flip flops.
yeah, he was very, very small.
Yeah, it was small.
And she sent him up to be like security guard. So me and Brett Lacey didn't get into a fight. It's a good thing we didn't actually want to fight. And we
Right.
were just, it was a
Messing
prank.
around, right?
It was a constant prank with her.
Right.
Oh, so anyway, that's
Wow.
how we kind of met. And then the gym in Delta that I worked at for a while, but this is before I started working there. I was probably 18 or 19 and you were going there and you were on a piece of cardio equipment in the back. You were either on a treadmill or an elliptical.
Yeah, I think it was the treadmill.
And I walked by and I saw you and I was like, oh my God, Claire, whatever. And then you said, hey, or you might've said, hey to me, one of the two. And then I went back and got on the cardio equipment next to you and we caught up. And then maybe we started talking on like MySpace or, just being friends. And then we went to like Fells Point together. Do you remember that? It doesn't matter, but we started like hanging out and being friends. That was kind of like the origin of us hanging out back. It was around that long ago. Well, let's fast forward. Let's get to some wild shit.
Yeah, the juicy stuff.
Juicy stuff. Okay. So we used to throw these orgies back at night. so, okay. I came up with this. Well, you were already pretty good at taking things and putting them in your pocket when you should not.
No, I guess I was. Huh?
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You bitch. You should not do that. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
No. So
Leave it at that.
I figured you would be a perfect sidekick for what I was fixing to do.
Yeah.
I had this dream, and I think they call it a push out in general terms. I think that's when I told this to somebody, and they said that's called a push out.
Okay.
But
yeah, that makes sense. That sounds right.
I used to just take note that the Walmart that I went to, I won't get too specific, but the Walmart that I was going to, I'm like, man, nobody's really at the door half the time. Like at night, nobody would be at one of the exits and they never really say anything to you. So I was like, what would happen if Connor, go lay down. Go lay down. All right. This is going to happen multiple times in this episode. I mean it. Lay down. Son.
He's so good.
Lay down. All the way. Good boy. So I wanted to fill up a shopping cart and drive it out the front doors. And I think it was me, you, was Kyle there the first time we did it?
I don't think so. I think it was always just the two of us.
Did I ever do it with you with Kyle?
No.
You
I
one
don't-
time the three of us did it.
Are you sure?
One time the three of us did it, I think. Remember he had an expedition
Were we like,
and we loaded it up outside. I think me and you
we were
might have
considering the
walked out.
television?
Yes.
That was the time, yeah. We were trying to get a TV.
Yeah, one time I did it with you first, and I did it with you at least several times. I also did it with Kyle, and we even took a shopping cart one time with Kyle. I don't know if you were there for that, but anyway, so I came up with this idea of just filling stuff up in this shopping cart. It was great. I would just like stock up on like underwear, like, you know, clothes, food. We get like protein bars, workout supplements, and you would get stuff.
I got stuff.
And the first time we go to, well, this was a recurring theme, but I think we both just walked out the front and loaded it up real quick and left, right? You walked out with me.
I walked out with you. Yes.
See, when Kyle did it with me, he was more nervous and he went out to his car first and was ready to load up. So I walked up. I was like, oh, we did it in your SUV.
We did it in my SUV. Yeah. And I was
You had
always
an
the
SUV.
getaway driver.
Yes.
Yeah. And because one time we almost got followed. I
Yes.
remember that. And I
Oh,
was stepping on it. Remember I ran
Yes.
that red light?
yes.
Get out of there?
We were nervous
Yeah, I was nervous.
because
Oh
I'm
my.
going out and the alarm starts going off because I was getting these because you had a lotion
There was
we
a-
never knew.
It was a special lotion. It was like stupid cheap lotion, like oil of Olay or something.
And so every time we're walking this shopping cart out, I was pretty nervous the first time we did it. So like, was I ever on like so when I did with Kyle, I'm not sure if I did this with you, but I used to pretend like I was on the phone. So I had my phone up. I'd be like, I know, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Babe, I'm on my way. I'll be there in a second. Just
Yeah.
in case somebody tried talking to me, I just acted like I was
Right.
caught up in a conversation and ignoring them.
Mhm.
Because I did walk by the door
The
greeter.
security.
Because that would be it. If the security was there and you had this shopping cart full, you had this anticipation of getting all of this stuff. So you were willing to roll the dice. Whereas,
Right.
well, maybe only one time did I actually get to push it by when no one was paying attention.
Right.
So the alarm goes off, and every time they try to like ask you to stop. But one time they followed out to see what was going on. And it's, you know, you got to load all the shit.
It's a lot of stuff. There was
It's
like
not in bags.
not in bags. So one
You
at a
just
time.
gotta, yeah, well, you just are boom, 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 boom,
Yeah. Go, 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 go.
Adrenaline to the 9,
Uh-huh.
running red lights.
Red light running.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was pretty. Is that? I mean, that was pretty intense at that time.
That was intense.
That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
We were talking about prank calls earlier.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have to go into that.
I know. I wish we could. Maybe we should like eventually see if the audio, if that video still exists. Do you think that video still exists of me?
I had it
It's on like an
somewhere
old
on like
YouTube.
Facebook or something on my old videos. I think I do have it.
I think it's on a YouTube.
It was
It's like on your YouTube page
maybe it's there too.
from like
Holiday Prank
12
Fest.
years. Yeah. We used to prank call people, and you remind, this is a terrible story. I hope your professor was not the best. She was great.
She was great.
Damn it.
She was really great.
I was a bad kid.
Yeah,
I was
we
a
were
bad
bad.
kid.
We were bad.
I can't help it. I just was. And I prank called your college professor. And what happened?
She thought that you were her boyfriend.
Big mistake.
Yeah,
I'm not her
she's-
boyfriend.
Yeah, she said, "Oh, Matthew," and
I said yes.
and he
Or
thought
what is
thought
it?
for a second, and I go, "Tell her yes."
Okay.
And
So it was you.
Yeah, it was me actually. I was like,
Okay.
"Yes, yes,
Feel
yes."
better about it. now.
Yeah, and you said yes, and she said, "Are you drunk?" And he said, "Oh no, I'm not drunk."
But I kind of acted.
But you
like I
acted
was.
drunk, yeah, but proceeded to act drunk. And so I found out the following week that she had broken up with this boyfriend of hers.
Probably because he lied and said I wasn't drinking. We never talked. Oh my God. Go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that happened. We prank called. I don't even remember. We used to just prank.
We did that too to Linda Sherman as well. We one day it was April Fool's, and I think you called or I called and said that they canceled some huge like event,
Yeah.
and she wound up not going. to this event. And
God, that's terrible.
it was really bad. Yeah.
I'll tell you a prank phone call story. I wish I could remember some of what we did, but this is one that I used to do when I first started prank phone calling. I was like, I don't know, 14, 13. And I knew there was like that star 67 where you could press it and they wouldn't be able to star 69 you.
Right.
Pretty funny that it's 69 of
Isn't
all
it?
things it could be.
It could be, right.
That's an inside
Well,
joke. All right, real quick. My dog needs another, you need to go lay down. You need to go lay down. You need to stop. You need to just figure it out. Lay down and relax. Thank you. Good boy. All right. So it was actually, do you remember Mackermuth and John Wood? Either one of them? They're my age. It doesn't really matter, but
the names I do remember, but they don't
so
stick out.
when I was hanging out with John, and we're prank phone calling people, we used to do it all three of us together because we were hanging out. But one time Matt couldn't make it. So I just started, whenever I get to a voicemail, I would just leave a message saying I was Matt Kermuth, some long-winded thing, and I gave my number. But I mean, like, we were prank phone calling people all night long.
Mm-hmm.
So I left like 60 messages on different phone numbers saying, hey, this is Matt Kermuth. I just want to give you the unfortunate news that my mom passed away. And so these people would call back. I'd leave angry messages. I'd act like it was serious. And then we started, once we got in the rhythm of it, we wanted to get voicemails. We didn't want to get actual people.
Right.
So what I would do is we would call businesses and have them call us back. So one of them was a nursing home. And I said, if my mom picks up, she's not going to be compliant. So you just got to do your best to get me on the line. Don't listen to her. She's crazy and she needs to find a nursing. So if she picks up, just really try to convince her that you need to talk to me. Oh, over the next few days, she got so many phone calls. And then we would do it to John. It was just, Matt's mom was pissed. One time we were at their family friend's house playing video games with like his uncle, and they ate all their tasty cakes in like a box of like 5 of those peanut butter candy cake things, and I ate them all. So I was never allowed back over there. They're like that kid is never allowed over here. He ate all of our tasty cakes.
Do you remember when you prank phone called Sarah Corley, my first love, woman love?
Okay, tell me about it. Do you remember what happened or no?
I remember we tried a couple times over a couple different holidays, and then one Thanksgiving, she picked up. Mm-hmm. And you said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Sarah." And she paused and said, "Happy Thanksgiving."
It was more though, right?
It was more. It went on. This conversation went on for probably 20 minutes.
I had a lot of conversations with like people you knew,
and
via prank phone call.
Yeah, and I think that, and then she said something to the effect of, "Oh, well, I'm looking forward to my next phone call the next holiday." Remember
yes.
that?
Oh my God, that's right. Because we let her know. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you had different monikers. It was like Mitch,
Scotty McDougal,
Mitch
was
Banana.
Mitch Banana. Mitch Banana was like, yes. I don't know if I used like a European accent or like a rough.
Oh, thing. You would switch in between European and
like because so Mitch started as a character I played whenever I had a substitute named Mr. Dietz.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I talked like it.
Yeah, Mr. Dietz.
And I said my name was Mitch.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever had him as a sub, he's, Eddie Sveck. And then he's like, here, Dean Thrasher. Here, Mike Turpin. That's Mitch, sir. Oh, it's Mike on here. Let me change it. So from then on, every time I had Mr. Dietz as a substitute, I talked just like him.
Yeah.
And I always talked to him because I had to, the class was like, what in the fuck is going on? And I remember one time I was walking down the hallway and the assistant principal, Dr. Reynolds, who knew me
Dr.
very well.
Reynolds,
She loved me.
Yes.
They loved
remember
when
her.
when I had to go to the
Yeah,
office.
they
for
loved you.
various
Yeah.
stuff. But I spent a lot of time at the
All
office.
right.
And Dr. Reynolds goes, "Oh, good morning, Mr. Turpin." And Mr. Dietz was standing next to her. "Top of the morning, Mitch." And I go, "Top of the morning, Mr. Dietz," right in front of Dr. Reynolds. And she just looked at me, and her exact words were, "I need to talk to you later."
Yeah.
Like, what is going
Later.
on? Yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was high school. That was crazy. Oh my God, talking about crazy shit. Do you remember the fucking house parties?
Yes, I wanted to touch on those too.
Oh my God. I had like the first time my dad ever went out of town, and I was like old enough where I could just have a bunch of people over. I started inviting friends and just said, "Yeah, tell anybody to come over." I didn't think
Anybody
anything of
too.
it. I mean, it was like, how many people do you
Oh my
think
God, probably packed like 60 people
at a
at
time?
a time. Yeah,
But
coming,
people
going
were coming
steadily.
and going because people
Right.
were like, it was overwhelming for some people.
It was in the loud.
There was
music.
well over 100 people easily showed up throughout the night. And I mean, because think
Easily.
about it, it was a 4-story sort of house.
Right.
And
All levels.
all levels were packed. And I mean, it was like a drinking game on one thing, dancing on one.
Dancing was on the basement.
Yes, the
basement
first
floor.
part of the basement. The
Right.
basement was where people were like smoking pot.
Oh, I didn't
and-
know they were doing that down there.
I know. Well, I never did any drugs back then.
But didn't we smoke a little pot?
I never smoked pot with you.
I would smoke it by myself.
I never smoked.
I smoked it with your brother.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you smoked.
I remember
cigarettes.
watching Alejandro Jodorowsky and smoking pot to
The
Holy Mountain.
The Holy Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I never smoked pot till I was 27. I never did drugs back then.
Oh,
Yeah, that doesn't click because I've smoked so much
right.
pot since then, or you know me as the psychedelic
Psychedelic
athlete.
athlete, right? It's
But,
true. You were really straight edge.
Connor, you need to go lay down. You go. Do you want to go to your room? Then lay down. It's leverage. Thank you, bud. He gets anxious when there's people in the house. He doesn't know what to do. Yeah, I was kind of straight edge.
We were.
And well, I mean, yeah, I definitely didn't do any drugs.
Right.
Not at all. I had never drank. So I had never
wow.
drank when we were for
You weren't drinking
No.
at the parties?
never.
Oh wow, we
I
had so
never-
much fun.
I know.
My God.
It was crazy.
We would dance.
Dance.
We were dancing. There's this one
Yes.
picture.
Of
Remember?
us dancing.
Of us dancing.
Yes.
And I have this look on my face. It's just so savage.
Yeah, I think I have a shirt.
like,
I
my
have
shirt
a
is
shirt
wrapped
of
around my
mine
neck,
wrapped around your neck.
And I'm just like this.
Leaning back.
Yeah.
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 That was at one of those parties.
I know. I know. We always had plenty of food because of the Walmart supply.
Yeah. Now this is crazy. I don't even know if you know this, but it looked way cooler than it was because nothing really happened. But my dad came home for a little bit to get something, and he didn't originally think he was going to be coming home. And it was me, you, and Katie, your friend.
I didn't want to bring it up.
Well,
You
I'm not
remember
talking
that?
about. Well, I mean, I know but that was separate.
Oh, okay.
That was another night.
Okay.
Me and Katie, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That
remember.
Katie?
Yes,
Yeah.
that Katie. But
That's so weird.
but this was a night where nothing like that happened.
Oh, okay.
And we were in a bed together, us three. So my dad came home. We didn't wake up, and he thought I had a threesome with you guys. So
What was
he
it was like?
kind of thought it was cool.
Yeah, you thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't bring it up to me right away, but eventually he brought up, yeah, that was that night you had two girls in the bed at the same time. I didn't tell him.
He's the
I mean,
best. Yeah, of course you
then I
let him.
him.
Yeah.
It's my dad.
Yeah, sure, let him.
Yeah, that he thinks that's cool.
Yeah.
He was more pissed about like shit getting broken and people doing burnouts and stuff in like the grass.
Donuts in the grass.
That's disrespectful.
Oh, I got in trouble for my socks today. They say fuck off. My grandfather read me the riot act today.
You wore that in front of your grandparents?
Yeah, he said, "I'm disappointed in you, pal.
Ugh.
You have more class than that."
Well,
He's like, and for you to wear them around your grandparents, you should burn those socks.
that's what he said.
No.
Tell
I'm
him
not.
I got him for you. No. Yeah. your grandparents are nice. Yeah, he's a good guy,
Yeah.
but he definitely wouldn't.
He
like
doesn't
that.
care for, I forget sometimes how old fashioned they are though. You know, out in California, all these older people are
Yeah,
just like
apparently
they're
out in California
flipping the
they
bird.
sell dildos at vibrators at
And
department
even,
stores.
they do, they sure do. I was on the hunt for one. I
Yeah,
couldn't find one here in Maryland though.
no, because we
They-
were at the mall and you were looking at a face thing,
Yeah.
and she goes, can I help you? And you're like, is this a vibrator? She goes, no, it goes on your face. I just
It looked
kinda-
like
I kind of just like kind of directed
us out
my
of the way.
attention. Like I just kind of, you became in my peripheral.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know her.
And you're like, sorry, did I embarrass you? And I was like, oh no, were you embarrassed? She was embarrassed.
The thing said vibrator on it, or vibrose or something. I'm
Yeah.
probably making that word up, but
No, if it was a vibrator, it would have been exactly what you were looking for. It looked fancy.
well, the one I purchased is fancy.
Right.
And looked exactly like the one we saw at Nordstrom.
Yeah, we were at Nordstrom.
Yeah.
We were at the Towson Town Center. We were going vibrator and jeans shopping.
Yes.
One of us was looking for jeans and one of us was looking for vibrators.
Guess which one?
We found the jeans at Nordstrom.
Yeah, we found the jeans.
They do have those on the East Coast.
Yeah.
They just- I don't know. I find it hard to believe. We could do some cold calls, but I find it hard to believe that they sell vibrators at normal stores in Maryland. In
You
Hartford.
mean, oh,
Merlin?
Merlin?
Merlin,
Okay, sorry, I
yeah.
didn't understand what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me?
In Maryland.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I said it
no.
with I'm from, yeah.
Yeah, the light bulb just
I'm
went
from
on.
Baltimore. Balmer.
Balmer?
Yeah.
No, people understand when you say that.
Just north of Washington. Yes. Does anybody in your family say things like that? Does anybody say wash instead of wash?
No, they actually don't. They're pretty mild when it comes to
Proper.
they're pretty proper. Yeah, I'll give them that. You know,
Horse people.
they're like, Hicks, but
Yeah.
fancy.
Fancy Hicks.
Sort of
I like that.
fancy Hicks, yeah.
It's a good way of putting it.
Upscale Hicks.
Upscale.
Yeah.
That's a class.
They've got lots of class.
Class. No.
I didn't
no-
get any of that.
No fuck off socks.
No fuck up socks. No, that's a complete just
The rebel.
yeah, that's the rebel in me. And I said, oh, my grandfather says, oh, that word coming out of a woman's mouth, especially, just terrible.
Ugh.
Just terrible.
So he's allowed to say it, but does he cuss at all?
No, he doesn't. That's the thing. He does not curse. I think I've heard him curse probably 2 times in my entire life. And the word is something like shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he shit his pants.
Exactly. Precisely.
Yeah.
Shat would be the proper.
Yes.
Yeah.
I shat my pants. But your grandma, she cusses like a sailor.
She's a sailor. She's in the kitchen spilling. She spilled
N-words.
She
No,
spilled.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, we're sitting there. She's preparing for Christmas breakfast in the morning. She's got 24 eggs in this pan, right? And my grandfather and I are sitting down. We just figured out the configuration where everyone's going to sit, right? And we're talking about how he's telling me, like, your grandmother's going to be up all night, and you're going to be woken up by curse words. I
Mhm.
guarantee it. And as he's saying that, I look over, and she's got this tray with very low sides, and it's filled with raw eggs. And whatever she's done to these raw eggs, I don't know. But she picks it up to bring it to the oven, and it goes in slow motion. Wah, wah.
Oh.
And then on the floor, all 24 eggs, raw eggs, are everywhere on the floor, running down the cabinets.
Mm.
And she is just lost her mind.
And yells.
And my grandfather and I looking at each other, just in shock, complete shock. And I just sort of back up because I don't want to be in the crossfires.
No.
I let them handle it. Yeah, so there.
What did she didn't say anything?
She was upset. She's oh shit.
She like shit.
She's
That's
like
her
she's,
word.
yeah. Oh
Everyone's-
shit, I
that's
can't
their-
believe I
yeah.
did that. How did I,
Shit.
how can I, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Oh man, I just
Poor thing.
I'm not gonna say it.
What were you gonna say?
Well,
No, anything
remember
goes.
earlier I said I made a joke that she says the N-word, but she doesn't say that.
No, they're not
I was gonna say
racist.
this, so I was gonna
No.
say shit colored people. That's terrible. Oh, we'll cut that out. We'll bleep we'll bleep that out.
No.
Those damn shit colored. They can clean this mess up. I'll tell you, I'm gonna say it, so just don't be too embarrassed. I'm sorry, but so my great grandmother.
Oh,
Now, keep in mind, my great grandmother, great.
great.
Okay? She lived in West Virginia / Virginia in coal mining area. They, especially compared to their surroundings, they were very not racist. Like any white people that lived in that area, I mean, were as racist as anybody could ever be, ever, especially by today's standards, right? But these people were much more understanding and didn't think that way as much, you know, Native Americans, 100% Native American, and they had their own issues. They had to pretend that they were what you call Black Dutch instead of saying they were Native American, because apparently it was bad to be Native American. So they pretended they were actually part Black. So I don't know how that works, but that was like, so they actually were pretty cool. As a matter of fact, my great grandfather, when he got television, he thought television was real. He couldn't read or write. And when Sanford and Son was on, he would be like, see, I told you Black people are good or okay. Like, you know, these are, so I like Fred Sanford and Lamont. He used them as leverage for Black people.
Yeah.
He would argue with people who were really racist and be like, but what about Fred Sanford? He's hilarious. You know, he loved Sanford and Son when it came out. So my great grandmother in her old age, one time at the table when I was a young kid was, and I love my great grandmother. If there's anybody that like spiritually I'm connected to, I've only really had a direct connection to somebody in like a spiritual psychedelic revelation. And I asked for like, I just kept asking like, please, somebody come to me. I would love to experience this. Everyone I knew was experiencing like dead relatives and family members and stuff. I was like, I want to experience that. And who showed themselves to me? My great grandmother. And it was like my favorite person growing up. And I love her to death. But she said in her old age, she was having trouble taking care of the house. And she's like, man, I really should get one of those nigger ladies to come in and live with me. How much do you think that would cost? I take good care of her. She could live in the spare bedroom. That's what she said.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'd smack her and tell her what to do. No, that's terrible. No, she would have treated her nice,
I'm
but
sure.
by olden time standards, not by modern times, it probably wouldn't have been the
Not
best.
so
idea,
sure,
I
yeah.
think.
Oh.
So that was where's like your family origins beyond? You are like old time Maryland, right? Like the property that your grandparents live on, like that general area, is that where like
Oh, there were
ancestors
slaves
live?
and
Yeah.
no. They bought that farm 35 years ago.
Okay,
Right
and
before I was born.
originally that was a plantation
Originally, that was a plantation.
in
They
Maryland, which is weird. I didn't know
Merlin,
that. Merlin,
yeah, Merlin.
You know what I'm talking about. Same thing.
Like for instance, they gutted basically the entire home, and in that process found artifacts of slaves and letters and bottles and little time
Black
capsules.
slaves? No, I'm sorry, doesn't it?
I think I'd venture to say they were
Okay, okay.
probably
All right,
Black.
keep going.
the
Or as your
attic.
grandmother
They
would
have
say. All right,
things.
we're
It's
done
very
with this. Keep going.
creepy. Things written on the wall, on bedroom walls and things like that. And then there was one really strange omen in my grandparents' old original bedroom. So my uncle has been married and divorced twice and married 3 times. So he's on to his third wife now. And her name's Amy. And my uncle is John. And on that wall, when they stripped the wallpaper from the wall, right about the same time they were getting married, it said, Amy hates John.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that strange, right?
That's weird.
But I was just in the car with my grandparents going to Atlantic City for some gambling yesterday. And during that 3-hour ride, I brought a David Sedaris book thinking I needed something funny, but turns out that their quips and their squawking back and forth was far funnier. So
Yes.
I put the David Sedaris book down. I was like, this is way better. So I'm just listening and go back and forth about, the family dysfunction and
Move over, David Sedaris.
move over David Sedaris. They're talking about ruined family parties and divorces and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
So good.
Yeah.
Things I never knew. And they said, look, don't repeat this. I thought, well, God, I don't think unless I'm on the podcast, maybe I'll repeat it.
Yeah, under a moniker, is moniker, what do you think moniker means? Moniker works.
It's like a nickname.
Nickname, is that what it means?
Basically, a given name.
Yeah, and the definition is basically a nickname.
Yeah, nickname.
A nickname, comma, basically.
Right.
We're gonna go with that one.
Right.
All right, so Hattie.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use that maybe.
Hattie is my alter ego.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine was Scotty McDougal or Mitch Banana. Scotty McDougal was something I did when I really went with European accent, but sometimes I would say, but oh yeah, I forget. I would tell, man, I wish I could remember that. I would say my name was Mitch, and then Mitch Banana started because I would say my name and they're like, Mitch who, and then it just hit me as Banana.
I think
it just came.
You had a banana, and I think
I forget.
There was a banana sitting there or something. You looked at it and you said, banana.
Yeah. I can't remember. That was a prank that came into fruition. Huh? That's a pretty good point.
Yeah, it's good. I never thought of that.
Yeah. First time ever right there. That came into fruition during a prank call. So Mitch Banana holds a place in my heart. I forgot that name. I'm glad you remember. I got to bring that back. Really, I'm sure my training partners will enjoy me talking in an accent and pretending I'm somebody else all day for the next few weeks, because that'll happen. When I went to Japan, I came back. My thing was talking in a Japanese accent and putting san at the end of the name, So like Kevin-san.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have a few Asians that work with me now, and they're all Reiko-san. Ani-san.
Yeah.
Ani-san.
So my thing was, like san is a sign of respect, right? Like, so my thing was, like, have you ever seen Half Baked when he's like, fuck you, you're cool.
Yeah, you're cool.
You.
Yeah. I love that.
So my thing is, I do like a flip like that. I go, Kevin-san, Jonathan-san, Terry-san, Eddie.
Eddie.
Laura-san. Yeah.
Eddie.
So I'll just leave a san off the one person that's like the butt of the joke. You guys can use that one.
So are we gonna talk about,
what do you want?
Are we gonna go into like dating or anything like that?
Yeah. What do you want? Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, you're the host.
Okay. Well, let's talk about, do you want to talk about like do you want to talk about like a past relationship or the current situations, or?
I think current situations are.
You just want to talk about what's your current dynamic? Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Yeah, let me hear about your current dynamic.
My current dynamic. Well, so I've been in love, or I'll say I've been in love with an agoraphobic.
And that is somebody that doesn't leave the house, right? Or is afraid to go outside. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's by definition, right. Agoraphobic, I'd say. She doesn't like to leave the house.
How long have you been in love with her?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Younger, older?
5 years older.
Oh,
twice my age.
Twice your age.
Twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Can you imagine it just, no,
Which?
go ahead.
which same sex, twice your age, or not leaving the house? Because it's um, yeah, no, I mean, Steph was at times a little agoraphobic, my age, but a little agoraphobic. You know, she's playing it a little slow. It's been 5 years and you've just been trying to reel her in, right?
Yeah.
But what is like the furthest line you've crossed beyond friends?
With this particular.
Yeah, is there been like flirts?
Well, recently I sent, finally I thought, okay, I've exhausted all other options. I've come at it from a, sort of being gentlemanly and, polite, and that seemed to not been getting me too far. So I thought, all right, what angle have I not approached this from? All right. I said, that's it. The good old naked selfie.
Yes.
So I did. I snapped one good one and I sent it.
Mirror?
No, just laying after a shower. I just happened to catch just the right angle.
A selfie of you're like holding it in your hand.
Yeah, but you can't see. It almost looks like somebody else took it, and the lighting is good and it's still tasteful enough, but it's very sexy. Sent that off. I didn't hear for a couple hours. And I was getting a little nervous, right? It's like, ooh, this could go, I don't know. I mean, what have I got to lose, right?
Right.
At this point, there was not really much to lose. I pretty much done everything else I could do, said all I could say, and waited as long as I could wait, right? It's been, I mean, technically, let's say 3 years.
Okay.
But I've known, if I do the math, I've known this person for 5.
Right.
5 years.
And so what happened? You sent the photo.
Oh, it was well received. Yeah, right. It was actually.
What did she say? You're making me wet. More? Did she return the favor?
No, and I didn't. No, she did not.
Fingering myself. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But she was into it.
She was into it. Let's just put it that way. She was into it.
She knew that you were into her.
Oh yeah, I made that very clear. For a long time, I made that very clear.
And she just was.
I threw down the gauntlet. I threw down the gauntlet. I mean, and
right.
Also.
Oh, we got my roommate coming in. Well,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So, after that, we're recording podcast. So you sent that. When was that? How long ago was that?
That was only 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Wow, that's recent.
Yeah, it's recent. And then I got to kind of take her out for dinner.
Wow.
It was only a day after that. So it worked. I feel like it worked.
But no lines were crossed then.
No. I honestly, I really wanted to,
But this is the first time you were able to like take her out
on a normal sort of.
Willing to leave the house.
Right. Willing to leave the house.
Did she leave
I'm
the
not
house
sure if
for
she
work?
felt sorry for me or whatever, but she did come out.
Come out. Oh, out to dinner.
Out to dinner. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you think it might? No, I don't think it was because she was felt sorry for you.
I don't know. I just come from a funeral that day, so I don't know.
Did you say it would really upset me even worse if you did? Did you use that as leverage?
I didn't use it. No, I didn't.
It
really just
cheer me
send
up.
me right over the edge if you said no.
I would totally forget about my mom right now. That's not. Not to devalue whoever actually died.
I know. We love her. She's
yeah. Connor's a little torn up about it. My dog just whined. So that's going. That's cool. I'll tell you, the clock is ticking because she is twice. I would like, if
she needs to hurry up because
I was going to give you some advice.
Go ahead.
I would emphasize the fact that it's like, you only have so much of your life left. Like, you just went to a funeral the other day. Life is short. So there's a lot of shit going on in the world. She
Yeah.
doesn't even really need to leave her house much.
No, I always
You can go to her
yeah.
house.
I mean, I have a perfectly good closet,
Yes,
like
exactly. So
perfectly good
you,
and spacious.
I mean, now the thing is, once you get some momentum, you've got to keep it going.
See, yeah, I will keep it going.
When you go back, you got to try to get something right away.
Get
Like
something
just
right away, right.
expect, just go in with the expectation of course you're going to go out to dinner again.
Right,
Of course you're going to do something again.
right.
Maybe like, and maybe not give her an easy out. Like maybe give her a couple options.
What, just show up at the door?
Well, you could do that.
No.
That might be a little, I would just say like, would you rather go here or here?
That's good.
It kind of like, it just is like based on the assumption that she's going to want to go out with you again.
Right.
And maybe not make her pick a day, maybe just like pick a time. And if she says no, don't immediately go to another time, but in a couple days say, oh, well, are you free at this day, this time?
Right.
Sometimes I think when you're rapid fire and they say no immediately, you don't know why they say no. So if they say no for any other reason, other than they seriously can't, they might fire back if they want to go out badly or if it's a good time.
Mhm.
Because if she's that way on the fence as far as like wanting to leave the house, you might have to catch her at the right mood to get her to agree
Yeah,
to something.
I
So-
do have to catch her in the right mood.
So every couple days, just hit her with something. Hey, you want to go catch some food Tuesday night, right?
Mm.
She says, no. Wait till after Tuesday, right? Tuesday night comes along. She's sitting at home. She thinks I could be out to dinner with Claire, but I'm sitting here. Let her think about it. Let that day pass by.
Right.
So maybe don't do it like a week in advance. Like say tomorrow or Tuesday.
Right.
it's like
no,
Sunday,
too much time.
1 or 2 days out, ask her if she wants to grab food. Maybe not spring it on her same day. Maybe give her a day's notice. But you
Okay.
could even do same day. Hey, what do you want to grab something to eat later? Like that could be a morning text.
Right.
So something in the short
Well, I
term.
got her phone number finally.
Oh my, yeah, that's
You know
crazy.
how long it took me to get her phone number?
How are you talking to her? Or
Facebook Messenger.
Oh, okay. At
Yeah.
least there was that, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
Yeah,
it took me this long to just get her phone number.
Have you ever talked on the phone?
I called her on Christmas. She picked right up.
Wow.
No,
Good conversation.
good conversation.
That's good.
Yeah, it went well. Talked for a while.
Man.
Yeah.
Do you think, well, you did say she was jealous one time of somebody that you were dating.
Yes,
So she was,
I think she was.
that was a good sign.
That was a good sign. I thought, oh, well, I don't mind this anger because at least,
Yeah.
there's something there, right?
Yeah, we don't have to say names, but let's just say the other
no.
person's name
No
is
names.
Babs.
Babs?
Yeah.
All right,
So what you
Babs.
could do is you
Yeah.
could be like, you could do this. You could be like, hey, you want to go out to eat Tuesday or later, maybe later tonight, grab some sushi. I don't know if she's into that, but tacos and dancing, that's what a lot. And if she says no, she can't be like, oh, it's all right. I'll see what Babs is doing. But then you could just say JK, just K.
Just
JK,
K.
JK,
JK,
fuck
JK.
that bitch. Like make it endearing, but
Yeah.
make her think, get the gears going. Just think
Yeah.
it's funny. LOL, you bitch.
JK, JK. Yeah, I'm sure she would love that.
Yeah, so that kind of, Connor, buddy, what would you think your grandparents would think of Connor? Go lay down. I'm serious. Go lay down.
What? That they would think about what?
You dating a woman twice your age.
Well, they've met a woman I've dated who was 2.5 times my age, so
Oh, they'd be relieved.
they'd be relieved. They would think, okay, well, she's
Yeah,
being a little more.
that's what the funeral was that you went to. So it's nice. It's nice being in person because I can joke around better.
Yeah, it's
When I'm
better.
doing like interviews with people, I can be a little funny, but I get to really
Yeah, you
experiment
can,
with
right. And you know me,
juking
you
and
can
jiving. I'm
yeah.
juking and jiving. Juking and jiving. That's what I'm doing on this episode. Lots of juking and jiving.
Juking and jiving.
Yeah, because we can do that here.
We can do that here
I
between
can
you and me.
Play around in the paint.
Don't go too hard.
Okay. Juking and jiving. All right. So, okay. Well, that about sums it up.
They're non-judgmental people for the most part. I mean, they talk a lot of shit. They do. They
Right.
talk a lot of shit, but for the most part, they just really want me to be happy. So whatever that means for me is, it would be okay.
Healthy and happy.
Yeah, as long as it's healthy, as long as it's
If you have a job,
as long as I have a job, I've got things together, I'm
Healthy.
paying my own bills.
they're not worried.
They're not,
They
they
got
don't care what I
bigger-
do.
they got
They got
bigger
bigger
fish
fish to fry.
Yes.
You know?
That's good. That's good. That's very understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything specific. I'll tell you the big thing for me, and this is not a big thing, and this is nothing like creepy. Like if somebody's literally listening to this, it has been nice. So, okay, I was talking to a girl who was an instructor at a yoga studio, and she was a massage therapist, and I actually got a massage and I didn't do anything weird there, but I think she could probably tell that I was interested in her from a conversation. I think she could just tell in general. But either way, I eventually asked her out to dinner, and she was down, and we hung out some, and then she was taking me to the yoga studio that she taught at. And we took class together a few times and we're hanging out. She stopped teaching at that studio. So she went to a different studio. She moved further into the city. We haven't really hung out much since then. But she did send me a good pic the other day.
Oh, she did.
Out of the blue.
Was it nude?
Yes. At like 10:30 in the morning.
Ooh.
I know. Are you just getting up or are you still up? You know?
That's neither here nor there.
Right.
But
doesn't matter. But I thought.
Are you a morning person?
Well, I mean, I was up. I was working. So.
No, I meant, are you?
Oh, in general, I am not necessarily by choice. It's healthy for me to get up in the morning and do stuff. But if I had like a retired life, I would probably spend way too much time just like laying in bed and falling back to sleep and not having the motivation to start my day unless I had like a set schedule.
Right.
So that happens sometimes. It's hard for me to like, all right, get up and start doing stuff when I do have the opportunity to sleep in. I'm pretty flexible as far as like night person, morning person. I don't have a specific preference, but that kind of sums it up. I get up early as hell to go train or to train clients or to work. I rarely don't have a reason to get up early in the morning. So, but anyway, I got in the habit of going to yoga. So for the past, I mean, I started hanging out with her, God, probably close to a year, no, probably 8 months ago, 9 months ago. And I kept going to the studio. And I'll tell you, it's just kind of nice being a single guy in a sea of, a decent amount of single women. And it's not that there's ever anything that like really crosses lines or is overly flirty. But it's just nice to know that I'm in a real pool as opposed to like needing to be on like a dating app to talk to people or maybe approaching the only girl out of like a bunch of dudes at a jujitsu class or what, are you going to cuss somebody at the grocery store? Like, I'm not a big enough drinker probably to want to meet somebody out at the bar. I mean, if preference for me would be somebody who didn't drink much at all, So I've kind of found a thing where it's like, unless I want to go out of my way to randomly drop hints on social media, which I'm kind of tired of doing. It's worked before, I'm tired of dating apps. This is my big problem.
Tell me.
If you don't know me in the person, you're going to have a really hard time figuring out what I might be like.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you're just judging me by a dating app,
I don't think that's possible.
it, especially for me, it's like extra hard. And I don't want to tell somebody everything about me. I don't want to say, but then it's like, as it unfolds, it's like, I should probably tell them some of the stuff I'm involved in. And I'm such an outspoken person on like my social media, the psychedelic athlete stuff, even if it's just, you do jujitsu or whatever, when I was doing stand-up comedy, like, I don't know, that's not attractive. People think that's attractive. Maybe like one of those things is a little attractive, but when you do like a lot of stuff, if they don't know you, it's hard for them to like put that into some sort of context or whatever. So if they don't know my history, like somebody I went to school with, it's hard to just like meet somebody who doesn't at least know me from a dynamic and can relate it to, oh, I see this guy interact with people on a daily. I see how he walks into a room. I catch his aura. That is a better situation for me.
Mhm.
I'm a much better sell at a yoga studio.
Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like an on-demand guy there,
And you got that big old booty.
the
to
big
go
old
with.
booty,
Huge.
cauliflower ear,
Cauliflower ear.
tattoos. I don't talk at the yoga studio, so I don't like dig a hole, or I don't
Oh,
like, I'm
that's
not
good.
obnoxious.
Right.
So
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
a great idea.
yeah, right. So
Don't talk. They can just project what they
can
want onto
imagine
you.
it.
Yeah.
When I do talk, it's more like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's all right. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Me.
So
You're a real humdinger.
yeah, and they already would know what I look like with my shirt off. So if they're attracted to you or anything strikes up, like that's extra level of comfort.
Right.
Yeah,
you've already.
Yeah. So I'm not really worried about anything else as far as that. Like I know they're attracted to me enough, but I'm also I respect the studio, and I just like the fact that it's an option and not anything solidified. So it's not really ruining my dynamic
right
at the studio. So lately, just knowing that I walk into the studio, there's new girls. It's not even like a girl. It's the fact that there are women, a large amount of women who, if they were interested, if whatever, something might come of it.
Right.
They're attractive. They're going to yoga. I find that attractive. I like that. I find that kind of hot, so that has been something that's been keeping me occupied. Whereas before, I probably, after like a month or two of not talking to somebody, I might fire up Tinder.
Right.
And I haven't. And I haven't had any interest in it. And it's been nice just to be happy with being in a dynamic. And like, I'm not a gawker, so it's not like I'm in there being a creeper. Like I'm not staring at butts. I'm not I'm not striking up conversation with people randomly, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just minding my own, but being happy, knowing that if people were interested, I am there to be interested in.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
I think that's very healthy.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So
I like that for you.
That's where I've been. And I'm content with that. It's tough for me. Like I'm starting up this podcast. I take jujitsu competitions seriously. I'm the type of person that when something comes around that I want, I'm willing to make the sacrifices for it.
Right.
I don't mind. Like tonight, you said your flight was delayed. I was excited to be able to hang out tonight, right? Mm-hmm. I'm excited to do things with people I want to do things with. And I think people mistake my busy lifestyle as not having time for somebody. Whereas historically, I've literally manipulated my schedule or my time to fit around pretty much any girl's schedule. I mean, it'd be tough with landscaping and my 5 a.m. training, but that's normal. People have a job. They can't, outside of my job and like an early morning training session, I would be willing to be as pliable as needed to be for dating. So, but people see my schedule, they see all the things I do. I think they're like, God, how's that guy gonna have time for anything? Well, it's because I'm single.
Right. You're just,
I fill my schedule up. I would fill my schedule up with you if
He should
you
use
know what
that.
I mean?
He should write that.
Yes,
That should be
that's a good thing. If I ever do Tinder
the
again.
tagline.
Yeah, don't
This
let my
could be
busy
you.
schedule. Yeah, I fill my schedule whether it's with you or without you. But I'm willing, or no, see, I can't be too
No, it
descriptive.
can't be. It's got to be
It's short and
just-
sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet. One liner, just
That's what I'm
light and
known for.
polite. Yeah,
Short and sweet.
short and sweet.
No.
This is what you're known for.
Yeah,
isn't it?
right.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Oh,
I know.
I meant because I'm long-winded. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should cover on this.
I think we kind of covered a lot of the
Covered a
bases.
lot.
Covered
We
a
got
lot
a
of
to be
bases.
continued. It gives
Yeah,
us
we
a
should.
part two. We're
Part two.
teasing. We can
This is a
update things. Is
teaser.
there anything else that we want to update on? An accountability. No, let's just keep it. We can always run an update on the yoga studio, the agoraphobia, the dating.
The
thing.
agoraphobia. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
it should be
additional
such
prank
a
calls.
right.
We could prank call somebody on the next episode.
We should.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll have to see who my guest is, but no, I'm just kidding. So cool. Do you
Well,
want
this
to,
was-
huh? Do you
Huh?
want to promote anything? You know,
well,
I don't know. We should tell people that you are learning how to make jewelry.
I
and
do
you're
make
making
jewelry. Yeah, I'm making jewelry now. Fine jewelry.
Do you sell it online?
I don't. It's word of
In
mouth,
store,
but I have.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, it's definitely something I keep on the low. But it's
Looks good. You
Thank you.
post pictures of it on your.
yeah, I have a couple
Facebook.
pictures that go up, but basically I just do commission work
Mhm.
right now. And I work for, diamond importer. So I'm still in the biz
Nice.
from 9 to 5, and then from 5 to whenever.
West
I do
Hollywood.
West Hollywood.
West Hollywood. You don't need to sell stuff online. You live in West Hollywood.
Nobody in West Hollywood has any money.
That's the Northeast.
Yeah, no, it's more like Santa Monica and the Palisades. That's where the money is.
Is that in Hollywood?
No, no.
What's Palisades?
Palisades is near the water.
Mm,
West side.
yeah, Skid
West side.
Row.
Yeah, Skid Row.
You ever been down Skid Row?
I have actually. I mean, just
Is it as bad as they say?
it is. It's very bad. Very
Is
bad.
there anything like it? Have you ever been around?
Anything like that?
Is that the worst
That's the
situation?
worst
you've ever been
situation.
around?
Yeah, worst.
Skid Row.
Skid Row is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad. Yeah.
You ever
So-
been outside of the country?
Have I?
Yeah.
I lived overseas for a little while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
France.
No, actually, I've never been to France. Just
You
strange
seem
because
like
I'm
you
taking Rosetta Stone French lessons. But
You seem like you could live in France.
I could navigate France probably. I think.
Where did you live?
I lived in Rome for a bit.
I went to Rome.
Yeah, and then I know because you traveled, and then
Yes, I traveled.
you've traveled.
I've
You're a
traveled to
well-traveled
Rome.
gentleman.
Keep going. Whoa.
Uh,
And then you said in there.
oh yes, and then Barcelona. I went to Barcelona
Ooh.
for a little while. I've been to England obviously because half my family is English, so I'm half English.
Mm,
And that's pretty much it as far as overseas goes.
nice.
But all over the States.
If we could travel anywhere together,
Where would we want to go?
where do you think would be the most fun to travel? I don't even know if it makes a difference if I'm involved, but if
I think
you
it would
and
be
I
fun to
could-
go to France with you. I do.
Cool.
I think France could be really fun with you.
I could do.
Let's
could,
go to
do.
France.
yeah, France.
Mhm.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you for listening.
Thanks for
to
having me.
The fourth installment of the Psychedelic Athlete. Yeah, I'll call Uber. We can get you home. We're gonna go have dinner, eat some food.
Yeah.
Are you hungry?
Oh yeah.
Oh, not very good. You say that, and then we're gonna eat. Just get like a bite or something.
I'll just have a nibble.
Girls do that. I'm gonna eat whatever I'm so.
You're really hungry. All right. Well,
hungry.
let's feed you.
All right. Thank you, Claire. I'm gonna
Thanks,
turn this
Mike.
off.
Mitch, I meant.
Yes, and that's banana to you. overall.